Hey Z, here's your assignment. This looks great. Really nice equipment shots. These look really nice. The composition in really nice. Even this kind of empty space is very nice, I think, when you have a contemplative look on your subject. And the white balance is lovely. I think there's a couple of them, you know, like maybe these two or these two, where the blue background gel is a little bit overpowering. But more often than not, especially in your finals, it adds a really nice effect. And so you said that you were looking for the triangular lighting, where you have a triangle extending from the eye through the cheek to the lip line. So it would be, of course I can only make squares here, but you know, you would have it over here. Like, right, it's hard to describe when I can only make rectangles, but it would be right about there. And then here you really have it. You have that triangular lighting. And that lighting, as you did, was, you know, it's effectively achieved with just two lights, you know, each on the side, you know, somewhere between 90 and 45 degrees from your subject. And then your two lights can be either an active key and an active secondary, or an active key and passive fill, which you've got going on here and here, which is great. That's exactly what you want to do. And then you said that you had a floodlight, I'm assuming with the blue gel, or do you mean this guy right here that actually has a blue bulb in it, illuminating part of the scene? It looks like it's this one, because we can see a little bit of it on the chair here, and it's kind of on the background. I think that was really, I think you did a really nice job, and I think the use of the book as a prop is fantastic here. It looks like it really puts him at ease. Whatever it is, he you know, he looks interested in it. And here he's writing. I think you did a good job. You know, the textbook answer for this, which I don't agree with, the textbook answer for how to achieve the feeling of wisdom in a portrait is strong cross-lighting with a high light ratio. And that's exactly what you did here. You did do strong cross-lighting. None of your lights are directly in front of your subject. You do have a high light ratio. You're probably at about 1 to 5 here. And in all of the images. And your exposure is very good. I think this, in regard to exposure, is my favorite. The shirt is just looking fantastic. You know, we have a nice light ratio on his face. It's doing a good job describing the contours of his face. And I think that works out really well. I'm so curious what you ended up doing with paper towels to diminish the glare that you were getting on his head. Did you buff him, or did you put the paper towels in front of your light as additional diffusion material? Let's see if I can see here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so curious. I've had many situations where I've needed to buff things that you don't think would need to be buffed so that I could reduce glare on them. It's really effective. I keep in the studio a roll of, you know, I no longer have the bag for them. I'm looking at them and I don't know what they're called anymore, but they're just like soft, 100% cotton, like cloths, but they're not cloths, you know, they're more like towels, like disposable towels, but they're puffy, and they come in a big roll. They're really soft. They're checked so that they don't have anything hard in them, so that you won't abrade a surface if you use it. You won't scratch the surface. They're a really nice tool to have. I wish I had the bag for them still. I've just had them, you know, you don't go through many, so I've had them for so long. But even, I find that shop towels work really well too, those blue disposable kind. Those are actually usually pretty soft and will work for buffing high gloss surfaces. But you did a great job, you know, just knowing, or, you know, I don't know if you knew this or you got it out of the lecture or the text, but just pulling the lights to 90 degrees from the angle, a 90 degrees angle from your subject to get that glare out of the glasses. That's fantastic. We are getting some reflection of the book. And then just moving the position of the book relative to him would eliminate that if you wanted to. You might have wanted it there too, because it can be a nice little additional narrative. But here we have almost no reflection when we would expect to have it in his glasses. You really did a very thoughtful job here. Excellent depth of field. You know, I just have nothing critical to say about your assignment. I think you're doing a fantastic job. So now that you're really excelling with your technique, with your lights, we can start talking about your creative process. And maybe together, or even on your own, but together maybe we can come up with more creative and ambitious approaches for you for your assignments. Because you're starting to do just perfect textbook lighting here in all of your assignments. So what we can think about now is more content. And so, let's start up that conversation. Now's a good time to do it at the end of week 3. Because these technically are just really looking fantastic. Thanks, Z.